Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. We're going to talk about something today which frankly makes me feel a little bit dirty. It's a very grimy object, as you can see. And this was given to me by a young Jared. He found it in a charity shop, and you can find pictures of this kit on the internet, so when it was new. And what it is, it's a rear view wiper kit. And you see there's a picture of a Mini. And I can't quite read the manufacturer, but we're going to go in the box and hopefully we'll be able to see that. It's the sort of thing I imagine would have been sold in Halfords or something back in there. And just to give you an idea of the age, we can look at the actual models it covers. So it's an EW79A, and you have an Audi 50 left-hand drive, 1974 onwards. Citroen LN, Fiat 128, Fiat 131, Ford Capri 2 litre, Ford Fiesta, Mazda 323, MGB, C GT. Okay, so your MGB or C. Opel Kadett, Peugeot 104, Peugeot 504. And looking at the dates, actually, that's from 1969 on, 1971. Triumph 2000, Toyota Corolla. So you can see, you know, there's a 1978. So obviously this kit is after 1978 at some point. Anyway, I think that ages it at least. You can see it's some point during the late 70s, early 80s. And if we open it, ooh, it's still in its original condition. And we do actually have a book, fortunately, or a pamphlet. Really, it's not really a book. Not unless you're a very light reader. And it's called the Trico Rear View. And there again, the same list of products it can fit. And this is the whole fitting guide basically, so it's giving you preliminary note. Where a vehicle is drilled and plugged for rear wiper installation, this should be ignored unless it is exactly the same position as indicated by the template supplied with this kit. Wow, so yes, you have to buy a rear view wiper probably as an option. And if you didn't buy the option, don't fit this in the same hole because it might not fit. By Trico Fulberth Limited, Great West Road, Brentford, Middlesex, England. And it's an 01 telephone number, printed in England. So I wonder if this was made in England. A rare treat, something that was possibly made in the UK. Bearing in mind this was the 80s, and yes, things were starting to be reasonably high-tech in cars. This kit does look like something that could have been made in the UK. So here's our roll of wire. Look, it's actually eroded where the wire has been. It's been in there so long, it's actually eaten into the polystyrene. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? And there's the motor itself. We'll have a look at that in a moment. A switch, usual kind of switch, and this is a really common switch. You used to get this in Halfords or any of those shops that had, you know, things in bags on the little displays, and they were like £2. Rubber grommet and a rubber seal, and just a bit of, you know, random terminals. I'm guessing all of this must have been in the bag. Probably fallen out with age. The tape's not even sticky anymore on these things. I'll put it in there. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Get them back in their polystyrene. And then you have the standard British style wiper, which you'd get on the front of an MGB, but I think that's had its... it's got no spring in it anymore. That's by Trico. Trico, patented. I never really looked at them all. I wonder if they're a Trico brand. I'm going to have a look at... next classic car show and see if any of these original ones are Trico. There you go, that's quite nice. Still pretty well preserved, a little bit of peeling on the sort of powder coat or paint. And that is the actual final ring to attach it to the end of the spindle. So it's not, it's got some knurling in it, internal knurling, so it'll provide a bit of grip once it's on there. And there's the motor. So no switch, obviously, because you have the on-off switch there. But if you had the series Land Rover, you used to have a switch on the front here. So I suspect they're probably similar design. Should we run it? I think the answer is, of course, we should run it. So we've got a 12.6 volts power supply. I think that's close enough here. Are you ready? Ooh, there you go. And you probably can't see that, but it's pretty slow. But I've just got the thing. Let's do that. If I clip that on, So it looks like you get a 90 degrees stroke. Fun. So I'm going to turn it up. Let's see how many volts. 15, 16, 17, 18 volts. 20 volts. Woohoo! But in your car normally at 14, you'd probably be looking something like that. My thumb is getting warm actually. Don't know if that was the motor getting warm or just my thumb compressing into it. So I think that's kind of cool, but I want to have a look inside. So at least I think we should at least take the cover off. Oh, that does not want to go. Bigger screwdriver needed. No real markings on this of where it was made. Oh yeah, no, made in Japan by TNK. Don't know how that eluded me. TNK. So these were a Japanese import. That means they probably were pretty good. Wow, that's cool. Now that is amazing. Look at that, you've got the brushes there. A little pokey tool. See the brushes right there? Wahoo! I've just put a bunch of crap in there. And let's see if we can get this running with the lid off. Pretty confident we can. And basically, looking how we're hooking up in there, you're just hooking up to these two terminals on the top with your power. So I can probably just turn on my power supply. Oop, hello. Why didn't it like that? Maybe not. Yeah, strange. That's it. Surprisingly quiet, isn't it? And it's connected to a gearbox. So this block underneath, which is the red part that you see on the screen, that's going to be the gearbox in there, and it's just winding around. But you could see how slow it was turning compared to the turns of this motor. So that's quite a ratio. Let's see if there's any further we can go. So if we take this panel off though, I'm sure. Let's have a look. So that doesn't come out. Ooh, realising my finger's really pushing into all these bits and bobs on the back. We don't want to knacker them prematurely. Again, these screws are seriously tight. So you might see my previous videos on things like wing mirrors, and unfortunately when you take those apart, the motorized wing mirrors, they're really quite complicated mechanisms, because you basically get one motor to do a whole bunch of jobs when you can. And if you remember toys when you were a kid in the 80s or earlier, like your robot attack flashy light thing, it would have like literally one motor in it that did the walking, the attack motion, the little projector in the belly, and probably even the sound. Ooh, yeah, there's your gearbox. Look at that, and there's your little cam in there. See? Nice, and there's a bit of grease there, and it's still quite greasy looking. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in here. Now, I'm going to just do something you probably ought not to do at home, and that's try to run it with the lid off. Always a recipe for stuff to sort of fall apart, but woohoo! Nice and simple. So you can see the reduction gearbox. So the motor is coming in from here. That's the main drive, and it's basically being transferred to this bigger gear there. And on that bigger gear there'll be a small gear on the other side, which is connecting to the outer edge of that bigger gear, and then it's the small edge of that gear which is connecting to this big one. So that's how you're getting your reduction, through a combination of all those. And then your left-right motion is just from this cam, well, this con rod driving the cam. But what's interesting, you'll notice when we disconnect power, the motor just stops wherever it wants to stop. So this kit wouldn't have had the ability to park itself, and that's something that you probably quite used to nowadays. You'd be really annoying to have to keep fiddling with the control to make sure it parked itself. Now if you do take apart something like this that has one of those little conrod-y type things, you have to be careful, because when you put it in, depending on the way round it is, one, it might mess with the direction if I recall, or it might be at the wrong end of the stroke and the thing won't work. So I'm going to just power that up. Yep, that's going the way we want it to go. And all that remains is for me to pop the screws in. So I'm not sure what to do with this. I mean, chances are I probably won't want to fit this to an old MGB. I was considering something fun, like maybe connecting it to one of the we did that thing, that back office boom box we called it, which was like a sort of containment box. One of these screws is short, by the way. Which one was that? And oh, there's two short screws. Phew. And then that way, if there's any fluids that sort of explode within the box, we could use this to sort of clean the interior area with a wiper. But it's a bit contrived. Again, so it could be useful for something that requires a reciprocating motion, and I can't think for the life of me anything in real life that's going to need a reciprocating motion either. So ideas down below, and maybe we'll try out some of the best ideas. I think that would work well, unless your ideas are something rude. You know who you are. Funny enough, I had a video today, which is a bit of a jokey video really, on how to make some fake poo. I don't know if you saw the how to make some fake poo, but we've already had people in the comments going, unsubscribed, I'm not happy with this, and it received a number of downvotes. I think it's exceeded my downvote to upvote ratio that I normally enjoy. So I don't know, maybe some people don't like a little joke. I thought it was funny. It's practical. You want to know how to make stuff, don't you? It's stuff I make. So I refuse to not make whatever the hell I want video-wise, guys. So just so we've got that relationship going forward, I like to make stuff that I like to make. And if you want to watch consistent, good content, go to one of the other channels. Probably 8-Bit Guy might be more your thing. So answers down below or on a postcard, and let us know what you think. As ever, thank you for watching.